Hello, and welcome to a Brighter Shores progression series where I can only unlock new parts of the map once I've completed the highest level activity in my existing map. As this is the first video, let's clarify the rules. I can only use my unlocked map. These are the minimum number of map chunks you get from the tutorial to start with. I must complete the highest unlock in all available professions to get a new map chunk. We will go over these later. For this series, I will not be buying from vendors outside of materials that only come from vendors. This is for a few reasons. One, I think it's less satisfying to uncouple the gathering skills and basically turn the series into shop simulator. I'd rather have the progression of being self-sufficient from the things we're going to be foraging, gathering, fishing, etc. Two, if I did this, then the series would start with a grind to 500 alchemy, which just no, I'm not doing that. There are times when this vendor rule will help me, and there will be times when it hinders the account greatly. The grinds will still be insane with this rule in place, so you don't have to worry about that. A few rules about other mechanics in the game will be mentioned when they become relevant in time when they're unlocked. For now, let's begin. So, these are our chunks. So these are the chunks we start with. It's the portal stone all the way through the training ground, through the streets, through to the waterfront and the beach where we get the kelp as part of the tutorial. So nothing apart from what the tutorial gives me has been unlocked or found. That includes things like the infirmary, the training guards, any of the shops and streets off the main route. Let's go through our professions and see what tasks these areas can give us. So, starting off with guard, we have absolutely nothing. There are no mobs in any of the areas that we have. The only thing that is kind of like a mob is the crabs, the passive activity. However, we can't grind up to 30 to unlock that, so there's nothing to do there. Worth pointing out for guard, while we're in Hopeport, we're locked to level 50 as a cap. So once we do unlock a mob, and we haven't picked a faction yet, we'll only have to defeat the highest variant of a mob up to 50, not, into the hundreds. For chef, nothing. We have no access to the kitchen yet. It's 2 chunks away through the restaurant. Fishing, we have 2 fishing areas. We have the eels on Eel Street Bridge. We have these passive ones. We have flounders. Flounders would be where you normally start. However, we don't have any tools. We don't have the fishing shop to buy the tools, so there's nothing for fishing that we can do at the minute. Foraging. Here's the main part of the chunks that we have. We have kelp and we have shells. Now, shells need a trowel. We can't get a trowel yet. We need to access the shop. So kelp is all that we have. Brown kelp is what we start with. There are 2 variants of that, green and silver. We will have to be able to get silver kelp, which is a foraging level of 161. Alchemy. The only potion we can make is the 10% healing potion. That uses the brown kelp we've already gathered. This has been done. It's part of the tutorial. Everything beyond that needs other reagents that we can't access. The 20% potion needs wallflowers. We can't get those. We can't get the shells, but even if we could, they combine with periwinkles, which are not in our map. So there's no alchemy grind either. So 161 forager is our one and only target at the minute. So here we are at the beach. This is going to be the account's home for a considerable amount of time. Here's the kelp, the first of many. And what we will quickly notice is we only have 3 kelp spawns. Normally, there are 6 in the game in total, but 3 of them are in other map pieces. So, unlike a lot of resources where you'll be able to make a nice foraging route and not have to wait on things, I will have to wait for the respawns. And here is the first full inventory. That'll get me probably not quite to level 5. And then once it's full, I've no access to rifts, I have no access to any quicker bank than just teleporting back to Homeport, putting this in the reagent bank and walking all the way back to the beach. All the way up to green kelp, which is at 47. So brown kelp to 47, green kelp to 161. Let's get on with it. Right, so with the next few kelp, we should be hitting 20. There we go. For anyone who doesn't know, once you hit 20, there is a steep wall of XP. So I'll pick a new one, and yep, barely moved. But on the other hand, we do now have access to knowledge. So I can unlock passives and I can unlock XP, which will be a big quarter of the XP bar. Ah, it wants me to unlock the passive. Okay. Ah, it was just telling me about the system. I thought it was just stopping me there. Anyway. Yes, the XP bar will barely move now. And we'll be relying mostly on knowledge points to advance. It is now a few more inventories past that point, and we've been filling the knowledge bar up nicely. So once I harvest this, we'll see that all our effort has not quite gotten us to halfway through a level, but I'll be able to convert this to XP, put it in foraging, and instantly zoom a bit more forward. So it's a lot slower, but KP is going to help. Couple of days in now, we're over 400,000 XP. We've got over 3,000 kelp banked. And after crunching the numbers, I've decided to not use knowledge points on unlocking passives. I was doing that for the first few, thought maybe it'll save some time later. Crunching the numbers, definitely not going to be saving time. I'll need every KP I can get. Yeah. And you join me back at 46 Forager, only picking up brown kelp. I've got a nice knowledge point saved up. I'm going to use it right now, put it to XP and get 47. And as if by magic, our kelp's now green. Yep, we can now forage green kelp. So, let's have a quick go at that. And it is very nice to see the XP bar actually move when you collect something, which hasn't been happening the last few levels, so more of this upcoming. So here's the final kelp count, 4744. Maybe one day that'll be a nice start to a alchemy grind. For now it's just a nice number to look at in the bank. So something rather exciting has just happened. The Christmas event has come out, and I assumed I wouldn't be able to get anything because I didn't have the armor tab. But I got my first drop, which gave me the armor tab. So now I get to wear a nice Christmas hat, which is very, very welcome. 15th of December, kelp log. We're nearly at 77. There it goes. Oh, and a knowledge point. That's nice to have. But that means our shells are now blue. It doesn't do anything for us because, as always, we don't have a trowel. But, yeah, new scenery. It is 5 days later, and with this kelp, another knowledge point, and another knowledge point means we'll get up to 100. A nice milestone. This is the last day before I have a lot of time off that I won't be focusing on this, so progress will slow down a bit now, so we'll see how long it takes onwards to 161. 19,000 kelp, 3 levels to go, 1 more unlock. We're nearly there. I have the KP, It's ready. Here we go. Onto this, and yep, the kelp is silver. Very nice to see. $2.3k per kelp. That is amazing. Right. Let's get the picker up on the recording device and see if we can roll a chunk or a map or however we're going to call it. 14 options. A lot of them on their own do nothing. Sparring area unlocks guard. Branoff Boulevard sends me right back to kelp because I've got to do more foraging. Fishing supplies is the death chunk because that is high 400s for the highest level flounder. But no use kind of putting it off anymore. Let's just see what we get. Ooh. And Little Lucy is nothing. It's a passive fishing one. It's a complete dead end. So I'll call that and get rid of it, and we'll go have a look. Right, so here we are, just south of the lobsters. Little Lucy is a boat at this dock, and it feels very weird, but we're now going to unlock a map piece for the first time. So what can we do here? There are some Raddocks, passive fishing grinds. Annie Two Gloves, she's one of the options for chef bounties, so there's a potentially useful thing we can do there when we get the chef grind, having more people that we can deliver to. We can do a few bounties with that, but yeah, this map doesn't lead anywhere else further south, so that's it. It's time to roll another piece. Right, so back in the picker. There's now only 13 options left, so that increases the chance we hit something real bad, but let's spin. No. Oh! No! Don't actually believe this. That's crazy. Okay. Sure. And just to prove I've not been spinning like 100 times or whatever. God. So here we are, outside the fishing shop. The rank 1 fisher just casually here to I don't know, just hang out. Right, let's go in and face our fate. The one thing I didn't really want to happen has happened. So, yeah, so inside here we've got a fishing spear, which unlocks eels, it unlocks flounders, and then I am doing eels and flounders all the way to 472. So, from one grind that lasted me a month to this one, which I don't even know how long this is going to be. So, onwards and upwards.